How are you?
Good.
Here you are. Good morning.
All right, guys, just got to South Carolina, to Charleston, South Carolina. And you may be wondering, like, what the hell are you doing in South Carolina in the middle of a pandemic? Well, it's starting to get business back to usual. Before the COVID pandemic, I used to travel a lot and then visit certain locations, give talks, do things for spine surgery, different conferences, different meetings, and just kind of came all to a halt with the pandemic, but starting to pick back up. I have a course spine conference, a course that I'm going to next weekend. It's in Austin, Texas. And outside of that, just finishing training and starting practice, I starting to develop some relationships and work with a couple companies to do things that I love doing. And one of the good things about when you're finished with your training, you'll have lots of opportunities to do things outside of the operating room or outside of clinic. One of those things is called consulting. This is basically where you work for companies and they pay you a certain amount of money to provide your expertise and your knowledge. Another thing that you can do for a lot of companies is called product development. And this is essentially where you're working with companies who have ideas or they have certain implants or things that we use in surgery. Say, for instance, I'm doing a surgery through someone's belly. It's called a ALIF, anterior lumbar interbody fusion. Well, the cages, either a metal or plastic cage that I put in between their bones after I removed all the areas that's compressing the spinal cord, that cage is designed by a certain company. So certain companies need surgeons, they need engineers, they need all different types of researchers to work to try to better their implants so that patients overall, their outcomes can be better. So I'm working with a company, and I won't mention the name of that company, but I can't mention the type of implant or device that we're designing or developing or trying to improve, but it is next level spine surgery. I'm so excited about this. I think this will be kind of 20th century kind of thing that's going to revolutionize spine surgery. And the great thing is about it, I'm a part of it. So hopefully this serves as some motivation to the med students out there, pre-med students, even PA students or nurse practitioner students who eventually want to go to med school, that at the light at the end of the tunnel, you have so many more opportunities, and you don't have to be that 9-to-5 doctor. There's lots of things outside of medicine that you can do. This is one of them. And I'm here for a couple of meetings, just here for 30 hours or so. Couple of meetings, dinner event here shortly, next 2 hours, and just going over some things for development. So I've always liked building things, putting things back together. If I would have known about the engineering MD degree that I believe Texas A&M has, I would have did that program. I love kind of coming up with different ideas, developing things, the innovation part of spine surgery. And this is the cool and exciting part of my career. I'm young and I'm new to practice, and I'm being a part of something that I think is going to change the field of spine surgery, it blows my mind that I have the opportunity to do this. And some people may ask, well, how do you get the opportunity to do that? Well, I'm glad you asked. And I always talk about relationships in medicine, and it's a lot of times it's about who you know. So if someone reached out to me, recommended me because of a lot of things that I do online, as well as my interests in kind of engineering and innovation and product development, and that's how that came about. But so I'm here for the next 30 hours or so. Just got to the room, And I also wanted to talk about the airports. I haven't traveled much since the pandemic, but this is probably my second time traveling. And the airport was crazy busy. There's a lot of people there wearing masks. You know, I didn't see anybody not wearing a mask, so everybody's kind of following the kind of guidelines. But there was a lot of people in the airport. The plane was kind of packed to the from seat to seat. I didn't see many areas where there was kind of middle seats that were left open, but yeah, it was a lot of people at the airport. So hopefully everyone's kind of staying safe and, you know, taking care of themselves. But got to the hotel room here, you know, had a charter ride kind of picked me up at the airport and dropped me off at the hotel, and got to the hotel and it was like, hey, Antonio, well, welcome. Here's your glass of champagne. So I thought that was pretty cool. But yeah, this is what I'm doing in the next 24, 30 hours. And I hope you guys learned something in this video, and we'll see you soon. What's up, guys? So it is around 7 a.m. I just woke up here in South Carolina. Last night, basically, we just went to dinner. We had a little business kind of dinner, talked about a few things, talked about some of the plans for the future, and got back to the hotel. Got some work done last night and kind of crashed, and then woke up this morning. So the next 20 minutes or so, just meeting up with some of the people from the company here, and we'll be talking about kind of going over some more details about the company and some of the things they can provide, and kind of what our relationship will be kind of moving forward. So as I mentioned, you know, as a spine surgeon, there's lots of different opportunities that you can do, any physician outside of medicine, and whether that's consulting, teaching, doing research, doing product development, the innovation side of medicine, the opportunities are endless, and that's the really fun part. I love operating, don't get me wrong, but I also love the other side of this equation. And for me, you know, maybe I'll talk about one of my other videos, and I have a new channel coming out called The Business Side of Medicine, kind of teaching individuals everything they don't teach us in medical school about money, about investing, about taxes for physicians, about how to run your business, how to start a private practice, how to run a private practice, how to market a private practice, the things that they don't really teach us along this path. And you guys watch out for that second YouTube channel. And I have a third YouTube channel that's coming up in the works. And this is mostly for spine surgery, about patient education, mostly for my patients. But I'm pretty sure it'll be educational for you guys also. But it's about to meet up here shortly in the next 10 minutes or so. And then I'm going to have some lunch with them today and head back to the airport this afternoon and back to San Antonio. But yeah, so it'll be good to see some of the implants and how they're made. So these implants that I use in surgery, and whether they're titanium or whether they're plastic, what's called PEEK, or the screws that we use, or the rods. Some of the rods can be cobalt chrome or titanium or stainless steel. So there's lots of different options. And, you know, as surgeons and in longer training, we learn about all these implants and their characteristics. And I have my preferences in terms of implants that I want to use in surgery, but it is good to see the other side of the how they're made, how they're manufactured. Hopefully I'll be able to show some of that to you guys today, how, you know, these implants are made in the factory and in the and you know, kind of from scratch. Like, how is a implant that I use in surgery, a little metal implant, how is that made? So hopefully I can kind of bring some of that to the channel, and that's some really interesting stuff. And hope you guys kind of pick up some interest in that and learn something from it. But yeah, I got to get going. Next 10 minutes, I have to go meet and get my day started. So we'll see you guys soon. All right, so I just got to the airport here in South Carolina, heading back to San Antonio. Had a great trip this trip, and it was a really quick one, but today, basically, a couple meetings. We checked out some of the implants, met with some of the engineers to talk about some of the products that we will be developing or I will be helping with. And sorry I wasn't able to show you much about the process today, but in the future, I would love to kind of show you guys kind of the ins and outs of product development. Actually, how does the implant get into my hands, and the development process, what goes on in terms of creating an implant or instrument, manufacturing that particular implant or instrument, and actually getting into the surgeon's hands, ultimately into the patient's kind of body. And overall the goal is to improve patient outcomes. So that's something that I've always been interested in, kind of the innovation, development, the engineering aspect of it. Not only do I get to contribute as a surgeon, but you have opportunities once you're done with all your training to contribute as a developer or innovator or engineer. Yeah, the opportunities kind of are endless from that aspect. So really looking forward to that, really looking forward to bringing that kind of from the development to the actual implant. That's a whole different world, which I'm really excited about learning. And hopefully I can bring a lot of that to you as I'm learning about it as well. And yeah, this is really exciting times. This was a really good trip. And make sure you guys look out for my new channel. It's called Business in Medicine, everything that's not taught about money in medical school. Look out for that channel, as well as my third channel that's coming out. It's called All About Spine. And this is mostly for patients, for patient education, where I'll be talking about different spine conditions, different surgeries that I will be doing, as well as for the students out there, the pre-med students, the PA students, nurse practitioner students, to kind of educate you about spine surgery, about spine health, and all those good things. So definitely look out for those two channels. I have some other ideas for just talking about how the instruments and implants that we use in surgery, how are those things actually made? How are they developed? How are they innovated? What are the engineers? What are they thinking about? So I'm excited to bring you guys that kind of whole aspect and world to my channel. But thank you guys for watching along. I hope you guys learned something over the last day or so. And yeah, look out for the next video, and we'll see you then.